The closest tree is less than 10 inches from our property line, which joins a wall and then our patio. There's not a day that goes by without droppings out of that tree on that patio. We have talked to the owner in the past. In 4.5 years, he's only trimmed it once, and that was after consecutive and a lot of pleading to get that handled. I would ideally like to see some of those trees taken out and thinned out, but when I look up from my property line, half of that tree is on my property, and I've got to sit there and watch that stuff drop all the time. So the beauty of that has really left me, unfortunately. Oh, is this going to go off? Okay. Well, I really have a lot to add, but unfortunately, we're very limited. So I just wish you take the time to read what was sent to you. That's just a small sample of what everybody feels. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Is there another speaker?
Hello, Marcia Barnett, 2568 Bonita Way. I live directly diagonally from the property for the last 40 years. And I want to thank the gentleman here for pointing out that it's a minimal and difficult lot. However, yet you want to add on to it. In Laguna Beach, all of us live on very minimal lots, which means that the side yards are very small. And to add on to your house to the detriment and infringement of your neighbors is wrong. If you want to remodel inside or outside and keep to the same size, that's fine. But to add on to the detriment of your neighbors is wrong. And I disagree with all of these add-ons, to tell you the truth. In addition to the fact of this house being a rental property, but that's, according to Ms. Plum, not what we're talking about. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Looks like we've got another speaker. Oh, boy.
Just one more. I'm Nancy Kershke, and that was my husband, Gary. But I wanted to talk just about the design of the building. If it's just too big and too much of that wall next to our front yard, if they could pull it back from the front of the house, pull back, and still be able to get his third bedroom. But it'll just be a massive wall there. And the window looks right onto our patio, and I don't like that. And I'm not in favor of the house being any closer to our home than it already is. We're already just a stone's throw. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else? And back to the applicant for 3 minutes.
Okay, first let's address the side yard. There is no variance being requested for that side yard. We are maintaining the legal side yard. We are not encroaching at all onto the Kershke's side. In fact, I've worked really hard to keep that totally private. The variance is not being requested for anything that's affecting that area at all. There's a number of other issues here which you've heard about, which we have been through, but I don't really think we're here to discuss those. I mean, this is just discussing an addition of 232 square feet on an existing deck. We are not imposing on the Kershkes other than the fact that there will be structure there, but we're allowed to do that. I mean, I'm within my setback. Again, the justification has to do with the size, the shape, and the topography of the property. Those are the special conditions that I feel warrant the justification for the variance. And the only variance that's really being requested here is to project into the additional front yard setback, the 45-degree angle. Now, we could maintain the exact same square footage. We could drop that down to a 5-foot plate at that wall. We'd still end up with the square footage. We'd still end up with everything that everyone's objecting against, except that that roof would be lower. That's why I've suggested that we lower the roof the foot. It aesthetically engages into what Chris Abel designed much better than if I were to try to jam it all the way down and stay within that 45-foot line. I'm out of time. Actually, that's really pretty much it in summation. I mean, if I can answer any direct questions, I'll be glad to.
Thank you very much. Okay, Karen.
Sorry. I inadvertently forgot to go to the Kershke's house, and I'm sorry. It's on my list. I don't know what the heck happened. I just must have been tooling along. And Ken had a chance to go, so he's going to go ahead and speak on this. I don't feel comfortable.
Okay,
Okay?
alrighty. Great. Thank you for letting me know. You are out of the list. So, you're out of the list of that I make. Let's go to questions. Let's start with Ken. Do you have questions?
I have no questions, thank you.
All right. Leslie?
No questions.
John?
You stated that this house could not be built today. Is it just that roof part that couldn't be built, or
It's a setback. I mean, the size, the setbacks that were allowed then would not be allowed now. The city at this point requires a 20-foot rear yard setback. You go back 20 feet and half the house is in the setback. Actually, over half the house is in the setback.
okay, thank you.
But in 1973, it was different.
All right. Elsa, do you have questions?
Is there a reason that your client wants to maintain all those pine trees? Is he maybe amenable to remove maybe one?
Those are some pretty beautiful pine trees.
I know, but there's one there that is kind of on the skinny side, kind of in the middle. Seems like it's being crowded. I'm only asking you, really.
Okay, I can't speak for him, but
Yeah.
I could definitely pose the question to him.
It's not going to mitigate the issue because the gentleman said himself it's right on the property line, and you cannot trim everything that's on one side. But if you can take on, there's one little tiny one that's growing between two large ones, it seems like it might be crowded out anyway by the other two.
Again, that's a possibility. I can't answer for him because it's his property,
Okay.
but I would be more than glad to suggest that if that would
Okay, so
ease the situation slightly.
it has not come up then in Turkey. All right, no other questions.
Thank you. Let's go to comments. Let's start with Leslie, please.
I was out there today. I only got one call from the Kershkes. I went by, no one was home, but I did help myself to your yard and walk down your side yard too and to the back. I saw no impact with this addition to the Kershkes. I saw your lower stake. I got your message, Mr. Iverson, and so thank you for that phone call, and I was able to note that. And so I do see that it does reduce the impact to what little impact there is to the neighbor. Like I said, there's really no impact. And if anything, I think it will help with the privacy because having a deck there, the deck looks right into their yard. So by putting a room there, it gets rid of any kind of privacy impact. And you've got vegetation there. It just, you can hardly even see the addition, so, or the proposed addition. In terms of the setback issues and the variances, I mean, I understand this is a difficult lot. I mean, home would not be able to be built today, and there's a lot of homes in Laguna that are like that, a lot of lots. But this is here, and I think that the proposed addition is minimal. It actually makes it more of a livable home, allowing it to be a 3-bedroom home, taking space that actually already exists as just outdoor space, outdoor living space in terms of decks. Sometimes board members include the decks as actual square footage and living space too. So I see that taking kind of a space that's not used often and turning it into a space makes the home more functional. And to address the issues that the neighbors have regarding, and I know